Let's talk about 10 conifers that will take the heat. A lot of times when we're talking about conifers, a lot of the exciting ones or interesting ones are for zone 4 and zone 5 and zone 6. And here in the South, we don't necessarily have super interesting conifers, but we actually do. You just have to search a little more. A lot of times, you know, folks are just carrying some really basic upright little green soldiers for screens and that kind of thing, but there actually are a lot of interesting cultivars of heat-tolerant groups of junipers and other things that we're going to go through in this video, and they can actually still be interesting, even in the South. And so I'm going to start off with Chinese junipers. There's lots of varieties. You see Chinese junipers almost certainly every single day. They grow from ground cover size up to 50 and 60 feet. So their actual species grows 50 to 60 feet. They're hardy in zone 4 to 9. They're drought tolerant, deer resistant, you know, have a lot of things going for them. And through a lot of plant breeding and a lot of folks paying attention, we have interesting blue ones. Blue Point is an upright version of that. We have this beautiful one called Daub's Frosted. This one is typically a ground cover. We're down here at Panther Creek Nursery, which is just south of Raleigh, where we're from here. And these are pruned up into standards or topiaried. And they're just they're incredible like this. You can imagine this thing in your garden, but this thing is as heat tolerant as anything else you'd ever put in your garden, you know, down to zone 9. A really, really tough, rugged plant. Again, this one can be purchased as just a ground cover variety or purchased up here on this standard. So you can see up close here how showy Daub's Frosted is. There's other gold ones too. There's one called Gold Lace, one called Old Gold. Interesting varieties like Mint Julep, Torolusa, really upright, kind of formal ones like Blue Point and Sea Green. Just a lot of interesting Chinese junipers for your garden. And it's one of those that's just incredibly heat tolerant and resilient. They're also salt tolerant. So those of you who, you know, living near coastal areas, it's going to be more tolerant to dog urine as well. Some of our conifers can be very, very sensitive to that, but not the Chinese junipers. Next up is Cedrus atlantica. This is one of the actual cedars, the 4 species of cedar. We have one called Sapphire Nymph at the house that you can keep quite small, and we'll have to keep it quite small because we're on a very, very small lot. This one is called Glauca pendula. It is obviously an upright weeping one. The regular Cedrus atlantica can get 40 to 60 feet tall. They're very, very heat tolerant. They're drought tolerant, humidity tolerant. They're aromatic, like a lot of cedars, which also makes them deer resistant, and nothing's going to nibble on it because it has a smell. They have this wonderful blue-green foliage. It doesn't matter if you're buying a little dwarf one like Sapphire Nymph like we have, or buying a larger weeping one like this, or the regular Cedrus atlantica. They're all have this really rich blue foliage, and it's a kind of we don't have a lot of blue foliage conifers for the South, but this is definitely one of them. And again, just an easy plant, and they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. This nursery has another one called Hortsman. If we run across it, we'll add a little piece of B-roll in here. But again, it has this blue-green foliage on it. Number 3 on our list of conifers that can take the heat is Thuja plicata. Not probably as heat tolerant as some of the other things that are going to be on this list, but I wanted to point out that Thuja plicata are western cedar, which are native to the Pacific Northwest, are more heat tolerant than Thuja occidentalis, which is our eastern Thuja, our eastern arborvitaes overall. But again, still not as heat tolerant as some of the other zone 8, zone 9 things that we're going to have in this video. Typically we'll see these lists, this is Green Giant arborvitae, which is a selection. It was picked that you see everywhere. People use these as giant screening plants. They get big, big, big. And in the wild, these can get 70 feet tall or more and live 1,000 years. So, and they're used for all kinds of lumber related things out on the West Coast. Now there's all kinds of selections of these now. We have one called Whipcord at the house that just is a little frilly selection of this that's super unique. And so when you think about Thuja plicata, you're not necessarily thinking about giant soldiers lining your landscape. There actually are very, very interesting ones. Again, really hardy in zone 5 to 7B. I see them all over zone 8 for sure, and they seem to be doing pretty well here in the Southeast. Very fast growing on something like Green Giant, 3 or 4 feet in a single season. The little dwarf whipcord one like we have at the house is only going to grow, you know, maybe a foot in a season, something like that. But definitely wanted to point out that Western red cedars are going to be, or Thuja plicata, Western arborvitae, are definitely more heat tolerant than our Eastern arborvitae are, which are actually native north of Pennsylvania up into Canada. So we just talked about Thuja plicata, and again, that may be the least heat tolerant one on the list. Moving over to one that's really heat tolerant in the Southeast is Japanese cedars, or Cryptomeria japonica. In the wild, these become very, very large trees, and you know, they'll limb themselves up from the bottom just like other conifers out in the wild, like pines and that kind of thing. And they have beautiful, beautiful trunks on them. We've selected all kinds of named cultivars over the years. They're dwarf. We have two dragon prince Cryptomerias at the house that you can keep very, very small, you know, in the 3 foot tall range and 4 feet wide. And then there's globosa nana, which I've seen, you know, anywhere as tall as 6 feet and, you know, maintainable down around 3 feet. And then things like black dragon, which are upright, narrow ones. And then one called Yoshino that we use similar. It has a similar habit to that green giant arborvitae that I was standing at, the Thuja plicata over there. So a lot of different varieties. We have teeny tiny ones in containers at the house. So this one is, there's a lot of selections of Japanese cedars. They're all very, very heat tolerant. I would say on the straight species, zone 5 to 9. On most of these named cultivars, zone 6 to 9. Just really easy plants. Once they're established, they're extremely drought tolerant. I had a Yoshino Cryptomeria at the old house. I think I may have watered it once in the 23 years that I lived in the house. And you know, when it first went in the ground and never had to think about it again, it'd be just a desert underneath that plant, and it would be it's just so incredibly drought tolerant and very, very beautiful, and also soft to the touch. So a lot of these conifers will kind of bite you when you touch them. Cryptomeria is definitely one that you can, you know, is friendly enough that you can work around. Next up is Cupressus arizonica, or Arizona cypress. These are incredibly drought tolerant, incredibly heat tolerant. They're zone 7 to 11. So this may be the most heat tolerant of all. It's also got this incredible blue-green foliage. These will get 70 or 80 feet tall out in Arizona, but very, very, very slowly. So you think you bring this plant from, as an Arizona native, out to the east, and we're just going to overwater it somehow and it's going to die. And these things actually thrive. They get over here and go, yay, water, and grow very, very quickly. Actually, this particular variety is called Blue Ice. I grew this one at my nursery for a long time. Really, really love it. It's got great architectural habit. It'll eventually become a fairly good screening plant in the landscape. These are incredible, you know, as you would expect from an Arizona native. You know, very, very drought tolerant. You know, once established, beautiful blue-green foliage. This one, the botanical name has changed on it, so I'll put that up on the screen because it's, you know, I feel like we're changing botanical names very, very quickly on lots of things. These are very aromatic, so the foliage is very aromatic. So they tend to be deer resistant, rabbit resistant. A lot of, you know, the kind of urban landscape problems or in suburban landscape problems that we have. Great plant for that. You can see it next to this purple foliage loropetalum, this upright loropetalum over here next to it, how great that purple and blue actually go together. But great, this one's a great pop of blue color in the landscape. Easy plant to grow. Next up is Chamaecyparis obtusa, and these come in all shapes and sizes. The regular species is a tree, basically, that can get up to 80 feet in height, but through plant breeding, we see all different types. So we have nightlight Chamaecyparis in our front garden. It's a perfect little round ball, and it's incredibly soft to the touch, which all of these are. This one's called Nana Ludia. This is, you know, again, soft to the touch. Every one of these Chamaecyparis, pretty much all the species, you can't help but touch them because they're soft. They're gold cultivars and green cultivars and upright narrow ones and round ones. Just an amazing group of plants. I don't know how many we have in the home garden, but we did 2 videos on the conifers that are in our garden in Raleigh. If you want to go back and look at those 2 videos, it was between the front garden and the back garden. I think they were close to 35 to 40. All of those, again, are very, very heat tolerant. a very, very heat tolerant group, but a lot of them were Chamaecyparis obtusa. Probably the most common Chamaecyparis obtusa is Nana Gracilis, and the name Nana you'd think stays small. It's kind of a slow growing, upright, narrow one, but I've seen these as tall as 25 feet in height, so keep that in mind. It will get some size on it over time. It can be sheared to be kept smaller. Again, super soft to the touch. Every one of these is going to be different and unique, which is kind of one of the appeals to me of Nana Gracilis. So that was Chamaecyparis obtusa. This is Chamaecyparis piscifera. Piscifera, gold mop being probably the one that most people know. That's the one you're looking at right here. It's a funny plant because I'd have people come and buy these from me at retail, ones that we grew, and they wanted the ones that got 3 feet in height and not the ones that got really, really big, but it's the same plant. You can keep this plant very small. I had a neighbor keep these 24 inches in height the entire time he lived next to me. He'd prune them off 4 times a season to keep them that way. And then I've seen these as tall as 25 and 30 feet. I think there's one at Juniper Level Botanic Garden. It's probably in the 25-foot tall range. These are native to Japan. They're hardy in zones 4 to 8. Pretty easy plants. The main thing with a lot of these conifers is they like moist, well-drained soil. So I'm going to say that about the entire group. None of them are going to want to sit in water, but you have to be careful with conifers in general with watering. You want to check them occasionally if it's abnormally dry outside, because they're not good at letting you know they're dry. They'll just start thinning from the inside out during drought periods. Next up on the heat-tolerant conifer list is deodar cedar, and this one gets quite big. This is another one of our actual cedars, like the Cedrus atlantica. This is Cedrus deodara. These can get big, and there's some in our neighborhood that have been in the ground for 50 plus years, and they are 50 plus feet tall and just giant trunks on them. They're absolutely amazing trees. They tend to get a bit of a flat form up at the top in the future as they establish it. Somehow the leader ends up dying and they end up spreading out up at the top. Really very, very, very interesting growth habit. Beautiful structure, and you see it in this little container right here and think, woo, that's a great looking little conifer. And then it's going to grow slow at first and then pick up speed and become quite big. Now, with that said, there are lots of interesting named cultivars, and we have one called Feelin Blue at the house. It's one that can be kept very, very small, weeping form. You'll see it occasionally. I've seen a tunnel made out of one before. Just interesting weeping forms. So this is a plant that you can add. It's incredibly humidity tolerant, heat tolerant. You can add to your southern garden without getting the one that gets 75 feet tall necessarily, but they are great additions. Great additions to the garden. Next up is Cephalotaxus. Cephalotaxus are great for the south, where our actual taxus or yews tend to grow in cooler areas. They may stretch down into zone 7, in a few exceptions a little further south, but most of the yews we use in your ornamental landscaping are definitely for cooler areas. The Cephalotaxus, on the other hand, are zone 6 to 10, incredibly heat tolerant plants. This one right here is fastigiata, which is an upright, narrow habit. You can see this is a great sky pencil holly replacement. Actually, overall, a tougher plant for sure. This one's called hedgehog. This is actually one of Steph's absolute favorites. Every time we see this plant anywhere, look how full that thing is. It's in a little weeping habit, 3 to 4 feet in height, something like that. We have Utopia plum yew at the house that has a kind of a spreading habit and can be kept a little shorter than this one. There's lots of different, prostrata, which grows absolutely flat to the ground. So all this group is just kind of all over the place. This one would appreciate a little bit of light shade. It's not the most sun tolerant thing, but Cephalotaxus are, I use them on a lot of landscape jobs over the years. I just find them to be very tough plants and incredibly heat tolerant and varying in, from ground cover to just upright narrow habit. I can fit them in almost anywhere. Next up is Podocarpus macrophyllus. This particular one is Roman candle Podocarpus. This is a Southern Living Plant Collection one with these white new growth on it. Really, really beautiful. You'll notice they have it in here under a shade cloth. The green cultivars like maki and mood ring, those can definitely go in more sun than this one, but that with the white on them here, they need a little bit. Part shade is best on this variety. This one will only get maybe 12, 15 feet. It's a little, much more slow growing. You know, the green ones are much faster. So varieties like Maki, Mood Ring, again, we have at the house. Mood Ring is really, really interesting. Another Southern Living Plant Collection one, actually. Really interesting new foliage colors on it as it leaves out in the spring and puts on new growth throughout the summer. It kind of leaves out pinkish and then becomes green over time. These are great plants that are incredibly heat tolerant. If you go down to places like someplace like the city of Charleston, where the houses are really close together in the old parts of Charleston, you'll see it's mostly Podocarpus that they're using to screen the houses because they can be kept super, super narrow. So if you have a really narrow place next to a patio, next to, you know, if you have a very, very narrow lot and you're looking for a plant to create a very narrow hedging screen that you can just shear the two sides of, Podocarpus is definitely top of the list for that. So there's 10 incredibly heat-tolerant conifers for the southeast, some more so than others. Podocarpus is right at the top of the list of incredibly heat-tolerant conifers. We did a video down at the Cox Arboretum at the end of last year, and then one down with John Reuter at UGA not that long ago when we're talking about some heat-tolerant conifers, if you want to go back and look at those videos, plus the ones that we have in our garden. If you're following along with the channel, you'll see lots more than we've shown in this video. But I want to go through the groups of conifers to look for if you're in areas of the country that you think you can't grow great conifers, because we actually can. Thanks for watching.